Hello, second channel. Today I went out and bought some skateboarding stuff because I figured that the only thing that was missing in my life was falling down and getting injured often. So I decided to get a skateboard. I used to skateboard a little bit when I was a teenager, sort of fell out the way of it, but I've been wanting to get back into it for a couple of years. So decided instead of buying a complete skateboard, I'd buy all the component parts and would do a video of putting this thing together. And we'll talk through the parts and as much as I can remember about the workings of a skateboard. I got all this stuff from Route 1, which is on Rose Street in Edinburgh, so shout out to them for some of the good salesmanship. We'll talk through components. The first main component of a skateboard is the deck itself. It's made from laminated layers of maple. It's curved up, as you can see, in a concave, and yeah, graphic on the bottom, and there's going to be grip tape goes on the top. This is a 7.75 width board. They come in many different widths, but I felt that was a good balance between the really wide ones and the really narrow ones. This is my roll of grip tape. It's self-adhesive on the back and a really grippy abrasive on the front that keeps your feet stuck to the board. Right now the board is very slidey, so you don't want to skate a skateboard without grip tape on it. That'll keep your feet in the right position and allow you to do tricks and not fall off quite as often. The trucks are the metal axles that bolt to the board and hold the wheels. These are the Route 1 branded ones. They were fairly cheap compared to the more expensive, more branded name ones. But I think they'll do the job. I don't think I'll notice the difference being, well, trying to get back into this, I don't think I'll notice the difference in really good trucks. So I've got these ones, and they should be good enough to do grinds and tricks and whatnot, and these are all sized to the boards, so I should have the right size for my board. Wheels, I decided to go for a set of Spitfire big head 53mm wheels, the 99 hardness, so they are pretty solid, and I decided that I should go for slightly better wheels than the sort of stock Route 1 wheels, purely because I got some good wheels the last time I was skateboarding and it made such a difference. I thought I'll spend a little bit extra on the wheels. That should give me a better ride and hopefully some more speed and all that sort of stuff. But these are pink and white, and the Spitfire stuff's usually pretty good. And if you want your wheels to roll, you need to have bearings. These are ABEC 5 fractures. They were just the sort of stock bearings that they gave me with the board. I'm sure they'll be fine. I'm sure they'll roll perfectly fine, and they wear out pretty quickly anyway, so they'll get upgraded when they need to be, but that's my bearings. And they threw in the hardware for free. That's some Allen bolts and lock nuts there, so I should be able to have everything here to put the board together. But I also got myself some wax, because if I want to try and grind anything, I'll need some wax. So I think I'm probably a long way off actually doing any grinds or anything like that on the board. But I didn't have wax the last time round, and I can never do grinds, and that's probably the reason why. So I've got some of that in preparation. So first things first, let's grip this board. The important thing about gripping a board is to make sure that we don't have any air bubbles, because the last thing we want is big air pockets underneath the grip tape, because it will just be under our feet and be annoying. So I think the best way to do it is to peel off the backing of the grip tape, lay it down nice and flat, and then just work to the edges. So hopefully I'll get this right first time. I've not quite done this right, oh no. I've gone a little bit too far over this side. This side's covered, it's fine, but it's I would have liked it a bit more central for cutting off, but whatever, it'll work, it'll be fine. Right, that feels like it's down pretty flat without any air bubbles. The next thing I'm going to do is take the metal shaft of this old screwdriver, and I'm going to just do that around about the edges, and that should break the edge, and we should be able to razor it off in one clean sweep. There we go, and you can see it gets the white trace of the board once it's been scraped down, and that should be nice and easy to cut through, because essentially what we've done is scraped that and made it nice and thin. So if I get my razor blade, we should be able to cut through it. So that turned out alright for my first attempt at gripping a board in several years. What a lot of people do at this point is take the excess grip tape and just sand the edges of the grip tape down, and that sort of breaks the hard edge and stops it peeling back off should the board land on its side, which will happen quite a lot as I'm trying to relearn how to do tricks and all sorts of things. Voila, that looks really nice actually. I did well with that. Let's leave the board for a second and set up the trucks and the wheels. The first thing we'll need to do is get the bearings into the wheels, and then we'll take the wheels onto the trucks, and for that I've got my socket wrench. So we're all good to go. So these are bearings, they spin, they've got ball bearings inside them and allows them to spin. So if I just hold the centre and give it a spin, you can see that it spins pretty freely. My fingers are sort of getting in the way of it. But there's 2 of these on each wheel, and that should allow us to coast about on the skateboard at some rapid speeds. Getting them into the wheel should be a pretty simple case, just push them in really. Oh, they're a tighter fit than I remember. I think I remember the old trick of use the truck to push them in place. Yeah, there we go. That's one in place. So that's bearings in both sides of the wheel. I've put it on the truck and give it a spin. Look at that. Beautiful. Now if I remember correctly, ABEC 5s are sort of the standard bearings. You do get bigger and smaller numbers of ABEC bearings. I think they get faster the bigger the number is. 5 is pretty standard, but I think you can get like 7s and 8s and stuff. I might be wrong, it's been a while. Now I just need to get the wheels onto the trucks. I've got my socket set which will take off these lock nuts, and there's also 2 washers here. One will go on either side of the wheel, so if I can leave one on there. Slip on a wheel, graphic outwards. Put the washer on, and then get my lock nut back. And tighten that up, not too far, because if we tighten up too much, obviously the wheel will stop spinning. Although I think I'm going to tighten them up quite tight to start with, because I think it's pushing the bearings in further. It feels like the bearings are getting pushed further into the wheel doing that. So I can tighten up and slack it off and let the wheel spin. It's pretty good. So you want them tight enough that they're not rattling about on the truck, but not so tight that they don't spin. So that's still spinning pretty freely, and it's not moving about on the truck, so that should be good. They look sick actually. I really like how they've got the 2 colours, and then you can really see them spin. Now obviously since we gripped this board, we've lost the position of the holes on the top of the board, so we're going to have to punch through from the underneath to find out where we're going to put our bolts. Now you could punch through with the bolt hardware itself, but I'm going to decide to use a little bradawl because I've got it about, and that should be a sharp point, should punch through nice and easy and won't push up the grip tape the same way as the hardware would. Now that we've got our hole positions poked out, we need to go in with the blade and widen those out so we're not trapping the grip tape between the bolt. We want the bolt to go down flat and recessed into the wood. So at that, the hardware should pop down fairly easily, and we'll be able to bolt that into the wood. Commonly with hardware there'll be one that's a different colour from the others. Every other bolt is black, but this one is this sort of teal turquoisey colour, and we'll designate our nose with that. I think we'll put it on the left hand side of the board, on the nose, so that'll let me know what direction my board's facing. So let's choose a truck and place it on here. The coloured bushings are going to go to the inside of the board on both sides, and that way the board will turn correctly. And the same with the other side, match up the coloured one here. I'm just going to make these finger tight for the minute, and then we will get into them with the socket wrench and tighten them up good and proper. I've got the Allen key on the top side of the board, and holding that in place as I tighten these up with the socket set. for the last bit of tightening. You get a bit more torque on the Allen key than you do on the socket, so I'm just spinning the Allen key to get them really bedded in. You can't really see that because it's on the other side of the board. The last thing I'll need to do before I can skate this is decide how tight I want the trucks. This bolt in the middle tightens up how much movement there is in here. That feels like an awful lot of movement, really loose. I quite liked slightly tighter trucks when I was skating before, to the point where people were like, oh no, I can't ride your board, the trucks are so tight. And I'm like, well, I can't ride yours because I keep falling off. So I think I'd probably have them tightened up a little from there. That seems like a lot of movement. But I think I'll have to start riding it to really know for sure. Just try standing on it, yeah, definitely a bit more. Ah, tubular, right, that's the skateboard set up. I can't wait to get down to skate park and try and remember how to do any tricks and hopefully fall over a lot and injure myself. It'll all be good fun, try to relearn all of that. So this was just setting up a skateboard. Hopefully that's been useful to you if you wanted to see how to set up a skateboard by a noob like me. So there we go, that's a good reference for you hopefully, and I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.